know what healthy living is all about? Do you want to know how can you live happier and longer? How about learning about balance, spirituality, and prevention? To know how you can live in harmony with others and how to add balance to your life? Know more about prevention and many, many more of the health topics?
Make sure to listen to Healthy Living. Healthy Living, prepared and presented by Fida Amin.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Healthy Living. Welcome to a new way of living and a better way to handle everyday issues that may concern your health and your family's health. Here at Healthy Living, and together, we will try to discuss many of the health issues that you may face or need to hear more about. So stick around and be with us, because without you listening and acting toward changing the way you live and your family live, this program cannot reach its goal. This program's goal is to help you pay more attention to the health choices you make on a daily basis. So when you make better health choices, the benefits you get are tremendous. Today's topic is very interesting and raises a concern too. It raises a concern to many of us. Today's topic is about addiction, specifically addiction to drugs. Addiction can be very harmful, not only to individuals or for addicts themselves, but to whole family. And my focus today will be on prevention and protection. Preventing the problem before it even happened. But before we proceed with discussing addiction prevention, let's listen together to the following report that was prepared by Lima Al-Roussan here at the Jordan University campus, asking our students about their input about addiction or drug abuse.
Hello.
Hello.
What's your name?
My name is Ammar Maghnam.
What's your major?
I'm an electrical engineering student.
Do you think that drugs are popular around youth?
Yes, I think drugs are popular somehow, and especially around the youth.
Do you think it's more popular on female or males?
Males most likely.
Why do you think youth take drugs?
Probably to try something new, or maybe to fill up some voids or some missing things in their lives. And because I think the youth has some, especially around here, they have some emptiness in their lives that they try to fill up with extreme measures like drugs.
In your opinion, how can we protect youth from drugs?
Maybe raise awareness campaigns that talk about drugs, and find and provide things that can the youth do and distract them from doing extreme measures like taking drugs.
Okay, thank you, Ammar.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello,
What's your name?
my name is Karim Alikat.
What's your major?
My major is mechatronics engineering.
Do you think that drugs are popular around youth?
Yes, I do. Mostly light types of drugs are common to use between youth.
Do you think it's more popular on the male youth or female?
I think it's more popular on the male youth since they are more tend more to experience and try other stuff, and tend more to be abused by peer pressure. I think the influence of foreign media, the availability of the drugs, tend to play a big role, and sometimes it's just to relieve stress, you know, because we live in very stressful times.
In your opinion, how can we protect youth from drugs?
We can protect them by informing them about them, teaching them really about them, like what they are and what they do. So much misinformation is here about drugs in Jordan, especially in Jordan. We tend to over amplify, you know, the effect of drugs. We say that every drug can cause addiction, and the actual case isn't right. You know, not every drug causes addiction. Not all drugs are absolutely bad. We must actually tell them what they do and why they shouldn't take them, rather than just making them look like scary things.
Thank you, Kareem.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi,
What's your name?
my name is Hussam Ismail.
Hussam, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Do you mind answering them? Do you think that drugs are popular around youth?
Yes, I think it's popular, especially in our community and university.
Why do you think youth take drugs?
I take drugs because it take the mind away. You don't know what you are doing when you are on drugs. You don't manage your control on your work or your study, anything.
So they use it out of stress release?
Yes, they may use it as stress release, and they may use it to stay awake sometimes, and if they have exams.
In your opinion, how can we protect youth from drugs?
We could do events about drugs, workshops. We could tell them how bad drugs, give advices like this.
Okay, thank you, Hussam.
You are so welcome.
Hello.
Hi,
What's your name?
Mahmoud Mansour.
Mahmoud, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Do you mind answering them?
Yeah, sure.
Do you think that drugs are popular around youth?
Well, relatively you could say yes, but it's not very, on the outer surface, it's not very obvious.
Why do you think youth take drugs?
They're so naive, they don't know much. They just want to try something out. They think they can't quit it once they try it, but sometimes they get sick.
In your opinion, how can we protect youth from drugs?
We need to make them aware at a younger age that it's really dangerous, especially schools or high schools. At that level, it's much easier to make them aware at that time.
Okay, thank you, Mahmoud.
Welcome.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Lara Amr.
Do you think that drugs are popular around youth?
No, I don't think they are very popular, especially here in Northern and the Middle East.
Why do you think youth take drugs?
Because they want to escape reality and it's something new and trending they want to try, and because of the effect of movies and magazines all around them.
In your opinion, how can we protect youth from drugs?
By spreading awareness campaigns that are held by someone who's close to their age and has been there through the struggle of getting out of addiction, not by their parents or their teachers, because they don't want to listen to them. And youth have the air to, I don't know, to challenge their parents and their teachers.
Thank you, Lara.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Back to you all and more on drugs addiction. Now, scientific-wise, we can define addiction simply as a complex disorder characterized by uncontrollable and obsessive drug use. We are all aware of the bad effects that drug addiction can cause to our physical and psychological health. But as I mentioned earlier, I believe that we need to focus on prevention, because the number of drug addicts, unfortunately, is increasing. So there must be a better way that we can find to protect our kids to get involved in such behaviors when they are adults. Therefore, I have interviewed Professor Iman Al-Mafleh Al-Baitawi, an assistant professor in early childhood education at the Jordan University, to tell us more about how to raise a child that can make wiser choices when become a teenager. Good afternoon, Dr. Iman Al-Mafleh Al-Baitawi. I'm so happy to have you with me today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Doctor, we're discussing the addiction. This topic is going to be about addiction, especially drugs addiction, and it's really popular here in Amman among youth. But I'm focusing actually on prevention. I don't want to talk about addiction today from a medical point of view or scientific perspective, since we all know what drugs and how bad drugs are. I just want to concentrate on prevention. And since you're a professor in early child education, I want to really ask you when we should start preventing our kids or raising our kids in a way to prevent them from using drugs.
It's never too early to start. A lot of people say we should start from preschool. Children at this age, they don't know anything about drugs. Even the term drugs, they don't know anything about it. So how we gonna help children afterwards if they don't know what the drugs is? And some people would say, okay, how are we going to prevent children afterwards when they are 11 or 12 if we're going to have the awareness at this age? The awareness will be how I'm going to raise a child to say no for bad behavior.
When it comes available, true.
Yes. So what is the bad behavior connected with drugs? I can't tell a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old smoking is bad. Now, if you want to say like smoking is not connected to drugs, yes it is. Not the smoking itself, like it's addicted, but it has nicotine. Drugs addicted in different ways and it affects our body in other different ways.
Actually, many researchers proved that smoking is the lead to addiction.
The factors for drug addiction does not have to do anything with smoking cigarettes. There's different factors. One of the factors is like environmental. This is the main two things, environmental and from heritage. So the environmental is like if you are around a lot of people, peer pressure. One of the factors, if you are around family, if one of your family members using the drugs. Now also one of your family members, if they use the drugs, it's going to be genetic too. It's going to affect you when you are a teenager or older, so it's going to help you to be a drug addict or whatever. So there's also a lot of factors that make you a drug addict. So some of it is like accidents, suicide, family problems at school, legal issues, financial problems, separation, divorce, all of this stuff. Let's go back to when we're going to start. As I say, we start from early age. Even we can start from preschool at KG. One of the activities we can do for the children when we talk about myself or my home, my country, and we talk about the environment. What makes the environment not good? How we're going to protect our environment? Smoking is one of them. And not only it's going to help us to protect our environment, smoking is going to protect our bodies. It's going to make us be healthy. This is one of the stuff that is related to drugs in later stages.
So what you're saying, doctor, that those little kids, maybe they're not aware of drugs and the dangerous effects of drugs, but in this stage we can concentrate on prevention by teaching them to always stick to doing the right thing and get rid of the bad habits. And that would make them, they will generate or have a bit stronger personalities where they can say no to bad habits and bad behaviors.
That's true. Bad behavior is not only saying no, not only to smoking. You know, kids tend to do so many things. They look at each other, and if this person is doing this and he like it, he will do the same. So one of the stuff we do in KG is we trying to change behavior. We trying to modifying behaviors, and this is part of the things we do at KGs. So when we try to modify behaviors, it's one way of telling the child to say no about the bad stuff that he's going to do in later.
Now, doctor, in order for us also to raise a child with great self-esteem, with enough confidence, a child that can make good decisions when they're in their teenage stages, does the parent have a strong role or an important role to play, like in the way they raise their kids? What do you say to parents today to prevent their kids from being addict in the future?
Of course, family and parents are number one factors that help children in child rearing, help them to be whatever they want to be in the future, to be a good person or a bad person. So how a parent will help a child to say no in the future about drugs or anything bad in the future? First thing, they have to keep whatever happens private. Like, if a child comes to his mom and want to say something that happens to him at school, first of all, the mom or the dad, they have to be attentive to whatever he says or she says. They have to listen. They have to use active listening. I listen, not hear them. I listen to them. I understand. I get the message. I try to understand what they want to tell me. I don't give a reaction, a bad reaction. I don't let the child feel like he's going to get punished or he's going to be in trouble if he's telling me something. So when he feels safe with me, he's going to come and tell me every single thing that's going to happen to him or with him in school. This is number one. Number two, I have to size the teachable moments. Sometimes I want to say something, but I can't find the time or the exact moment I can say it because the situation does not let me. So sometimes I have that situation or moment. I have to size it and I have to grab it. And I have to talk about whatever I want to say, whatever I want to tell my child. But still, those teachable moments, I shouldn't be the one who's talking and talking and talking. I have to let the child also speak and tell me whatever he want to say. One other thing, I have to be sensitive to his needs or to her needs. Maybe the child want to say something he's so scared to tell me about, or that child, he don't want to talk about it now.
So always keep an open communication, in another word.
Yes, so that will make me go to the other part of the conversation, that we have to make sure it's a two-way conversation. And to have the two-way conversation, I have to be smart in the way I'm asking the questions. You have to have open-ended questions, not a question with yes or no, especially when you have a teenage children. Kids between the age of 10 to 16, they already, when you say something, they say, okay, no, I see, maybe, whatever. This is their words. Now, you want to have a conversation with them. You have to ask an open-ended question. And I'm going to give some example about those open-ended questions. They start with what, when, how, who, and why. I could say, how did that make you feel? Why do you think they did that? When, question like this.
Trying to get more information out of them.
This is also what we call the active listening, because as we say, we listen and we understand the message and the feeling that the child or the teenage person wanna let us get, and then I will interpret their feelings in words, and those words should be in an open-ended question. So he will also come back and tell me, and he will open in talking and having that conversation with me.
So, doctor, the most important years of a child are the first 5 years. You agree with that?
Of course, we always say the 5. Sometimes we say the 3. 3 to 5 years. They are critical years in a person's life, because at those years, all of the development in our lives happens in this. It's rapid. It's either physical, social, emotional, intellectual, mental, everything. And
3 and 5
happens between 0, it's like to 5. So if you're a mother and a father, you should take care of your children. You should know those developmental milestones at this stage, and you have to take care of your children.
Dr. Iman, what are the signs that can tell a parent that they have a daughter or a son home that are addict? Is there any clear signs that can, give us a hint?
There's clear signs. There's many of them. We're gonna say some of them. One, a very clear sign is a problem at school for children, like problems at school, like frequently missing school or disinterest in school activities, if the child drop in grades or skipping classes, all of this stuff. Sometimes it's physical appearance or physical health issues. A child wouldn't bathe. He does not have energy, lack of motivation. He want to stay home. Sometimes it's a neglect of appearance. He does not care how he looks. He don't want to comb his hair. He don't want to change his clothing. He does not care if he looks good or bad. At this age, teenage kids, they are taking care of themselves. When a child changes, and it's the drastic change, you can tell, especially if your daughter or son taking care of themselves. They want to go out, they're going to go parties, and they want to look good and immediate. Also, it's changing in behaviors, especially if a child won't allow one of a family member to get in his room. There's something wrong.
Privacy issues.
Yes, room is always closed, or not to get in his computer. You never know. There's so many signs that make a family member get so suspicious. Spending money, like I gave you money yesterday. Where did you spend it? What happened?
So there are a lot of signs that can tell that there is a troubled child at home. Now, doctor, from your position as a professor in the childhood education or early child education, what advice do you give to parents?
I will do that in a set of questions each parent ask him or herself. If you ask yourself this question and the answer is no, you know that you're not doing the right thing for your children not to be involved with drugs. The first question is, when was the last time I sat down and I had a meaningful and a conversation with my child? The second question is, do I have a tendency to criticize my child in front of others? We always do that. We embarrass them in front of their friends, sometimes in front of our friends.
And they don't like it.
Of course. I remember myself when my parents used to criticize me or, embarrass me about something that I did. Sometimes they think it's cute, or sometimes they are proud of something I did, but I was not proud of it. What words have the greatest positive impact on my child? When was the last time I used those words? And the fourth question is, have I been sharing my time with each of my children or been too focused on one? Now, we need to treat our children the same. We're not going to favor one and leave the other one.
We mostly, doctor, favor the youngs or the one who's sick or the one we think needs more help.
Do I really listen to my child, or have I tended to dominate conversation? Do I come and talk and leave my children without saying anything?
Not lead the conversation, let them have a say on it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's all about communication. It's all about being open with your children. It's all about knowing what they're doing. It's all about being involved.
It was really a pleasure having you, doctor. Thank you for all the information that was presented, and I hope our listeners were listening and hopefully use those tips and advices you give. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Back to you, my listeners, and more on drug addiction and prevention. As we all heard, Professor Iman gave many ways parents can use to help their children build stronger personalities and better self-esteem and security. Raising a child with well-balanced and strong character can be very helpful, not just when it comes to drug addiction, but in all other types of addictions as well. This character can be strong enough to face any problems, any challenges, or even harmful temptations. Because after all, we are not going to be around them and all over their life. Your son or your kids soon will grow up and leave. It is the circle of life after all. So what's better than raising a son or a daughter that can survive in a complex and challenging environment? The choice, again, is yours. So get yourself educated about how to raise your children and deal with teens or teenagers. How to be a parent that can support their family member, not just financially. They need you more than a money provider. They need a parent that can stick around and be able to talk to when needed. Now, how about dealing with an addiction? How can addicts survive? What is the proper way of dealing with such a problem? Well, recognizing that you have a problem is the first step you may take in your way to recovery, which takes a tremendous courage and strength. Facing your addiction and the fact that it's a real problem may feel frightening and overwhelming, but the good news is recovery is within reach. If you are ready to make a change and willing to seek help, you can overcome your addiction and build a satisfying, drug-free life for yourself. The next step is to seek support. There is nothing you need to be ashamed of. Now you need the support from family and close friends. So don't go alone. Support is essential at this step because you can get discouraged or be scared of the whole process. You can also get support not just from family and friends. You can have support in therapists, counselors, healthcare providers, or even people from your faith community. Recovering from drug addiction is much easier when you have people you can lean on for encouragement, comfort, and guidance. Now, there are many myths or tales that are involved in addiction, and those myths need to be avoided when you're under treatment because it could discourage you from seeking help. Let me mention some of those popular myths. The first myth is overcoming addiction is simply a matter of willpower. Well, you can stop using drugs if you really want, which is completely wrong. This is a myth because drugs messes your brain in ways that results in powerful, irresistible cravings use. These brain changes make it extremely difficult to quit by any force of will, so you need the help and support of a family or a medical care provider. Now, the second myth is addiction is a disease and there's nothing you can do about, which is completely wrong. We can do a lot of things, actually. The brain changes associated with addiction can be treated and reversed through therapy, medicine, exercise, and many other treatments. So don't be discouraged in any way and seek help. The third myth actually is my favorite because myself thought that it's true and it's turned to be a myth. The myth says you can't force someone into treatment, they have to want help. That is not true because people who are pressured into treatment by their family or by employer or by the legal system are just as likely to benefit as those who choose to enter treatment on their own. As they sober up and get better, their thinking clears. Many formerly resistant addicts decide they want to change if they were forced. So if you have a beloved one that is not responding to your advices, try to pressure them and force them into treatment. The treatment process, it's tough and scary. So try to take the first step for them and hopefully they will carry on with the rest of the treatment on their own. The last myth I want to mention is treatment didn't work before, so there's no point of trying again. Well, here is what I would say for that. Recovering from drug addiction is a long process and will involve setbacks, so don't be discouraged. Relapse doesn't mean that treatment has failed. It's a signal to get back on track. So reaching to the end of today's show, I hope I was able to raise your attention to the increasing problem of addiction. I hope we can reconsider how we seek solutions to address this problem. The solution could be simply prevention and education. By designing the proper education and training programs that can fight this dangerous phenomena, we will certainly decrease the percentage of addiction victims. Let's not stand still and accept to get hurt. We need to fight back by finding new and effective ways to help youth and to help future generations from getting involved in such behaviors. Our time is up and it's time to say goodbye. But always remember, don't be insane. Drugs ruin the brain. And if strength and honor is what you seek, drugs only make you weak. Till next time, have a bright, sunny, and wonderful day. Goodbye. Do you know what healthy living is all about? Do you want to know how can you live happier and longer? How about learning about balance, spirituality, and prevention? To know how you can live in harmony with others and how to add balance to your life? Know more about prevention and many, many more of the health topics?
Make sure to listen to Healthy Living. Healthy Living, prepared and presented by Fida Amin.